also won today. They beat Virginia Tech. I made a bold prediction on the radio yesterday, Andrew, that North Carolina would win the entire ACC. They're playing well enough. I've watched their final 4 games going into this one. I think they have the talent, and maybe this is the time they finally put something together.
Well, did you go to the FanDuel Sportsbook there? There's nice odds on that. Well, you know,
pretty good odds. You got to take odds when you can get them.
Great minds think alike. Jim Boeheim at the ACC Media Day said the same exact thing about North Carolina. Now, the issue there is Syracuse plays North Carolina tomorrow. So, I mean, that's kind of an awkward situation now. But, Bob, come on. They got Cole Anthony and Garrison Brooks, who's the most improved player in the ACC. They were not. They were a 14th place finisher, last place. But they
they had a lot of close games.
That's what I'm saying. I go, they might have finished there, but they're more like the 4th or 5th best team in the conference.
If you're Syracuse, their first game is North Carolina, right?
That's
you're just saying, wait a minute, I get a reward and I get North Carolina right off the bat, not good. As far as Duquesne is concerned, they'll be in action this week. I have a feeling they may go out and win a couple
would you like me to give you a bold one?
Yes, give me.
I think Duquesne's going to win the A-10 tournament.
Good. I'd love to see that. That'll throw things in.
And they have not made the tournament since 1978. I've seen them up close a couple of times. The A-10 historically is a league where the number 1 seed gets picked off somewhere, and I just have a hard time believing that Dayton is going to completely run the table there.
Yeah, but Obi Toppin's really good.
Well, right.
They have a good team. I think they've proven that all season long. They did not lose in conference play.
They did not, but I remember a St. Joe's team that did the same thing with Jameer Nelson and Delonte West, and they went undefeated in the regular season, and they lost their first A-10 tournament game. So, the Dukes, Keith Dambrot.
There you go. RMU gets in. We talked about them. I'll get back to them in a second. We're going to get some phone calls right now, beginning with Kurt and Harmer. Hello, Kirk. How are you?
Hi, guys.
What's going on?
Listen, I tell you, if the trend continues, and it looks like it's going to do that and maybe even get worse, with the cancellation of all these games, it looks like you guys will be the only one in the arenas. Do we get our money back as season ticket holders? Because nothing like this has ever happened before with this virus and all. Do we?
I think that's
rated. Do we get our refunds?
I'm sure you would. Why wouldn't you? I mean, if you paid for tickets in advance, I think that's becoming a growing problem. It certainly has affected European soccer and all sports in Italy, and you can understand why. In this country, I think the one good thing about the coronavirus, I didn't want to get into this because it's not what we do here, but the one good thing about the coronavirus coming to this country, unfortunately, you'll find more cases, but I think they've had enough time to figure out a strategy and a preparation, not only nationally, federally, but also locally, and I think that's going to help in terms of containment, and I hope it does, and I hope we don't see no fans.
You don't want anybody to get sick here, especially when there's so much unknown and mystery that surrounds something like this. I know the one thing I was thinking about while I was actually at the game tonight, Bob, because now we've got the MAC tournament in Cleveland that's going to be played in an empty arena there. Something I was thinking about was, what happens if a player got the coronavirus? I mean, we're talking about trying to keep fans out because we don't want to expose them and keeping the media out. But if a player were to get sick, then I think the league needs to have a contingency plan in terms of not only postponing games, but possibly canceling games.
Right, because you don't know who it will have affected.
Exactly.
Everyone there. And the thing about it, though, is...
And I don't think that's impossible. I'm not saying that there's a great chance of that happening, but that, I believe, right now is on the table.
Anything can happen. And the one thing I find interesting is that leagues right now, we saw the professional sports leagues say to the media, you're not allowed in the locker room. And quite frankly, you're talking about basically a handful of reporters who go in there. But you still allow 5,000 at Grapefruit baseball games. You still allow all these people to show up at games. And if you're concerned about 12 media guys, shouldn't you be concerned about the greater good?
100%. I mean, the state of New Jersey told its residents today to basically stockpile 14 days worth of food. And then the same day, they say, well, you can go watch the Devils play the Penguins, and we'll put 15,000 of you together in one place. That's a dichotomy. That really doesn't make sense.
And it's even worse if you think about it in Ohio. Mike DeWine, their governor, tells people not to show up in terms of big crowded areas. That's his recommendation. It's not a mandate. And what happens immediately, from what we saw from the Columbus Blue Jackets, is they say we're going to do business as usual until we're told otherwise. So,
and I don't know if you saw this, but Andy Toole, after Robert Morris's win, because they'll probably end up playing in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah.
He said, good luck trying to keep my wife, my 5-year-old and 7-year-old out of that arena. What's his name, Mark DeWine? Mike DeWine?
Mike DeWine, yeah.
All right, Mike. Well, you might get a call from the Toole family.
Yeah.
They're not happy.
Well, listen, first of all, I think eventually this is going to be contained. It's just like a lot of things we've seen over the years. I'm not a scientist, but I do know that a lot of doctors that I respect and talked about said there's a way to contain it. There are some painful, steps that are going to have to be taken. We'll see how it goes. In the meantime, Pete is on the line. What's up, Pete in Squirrel Hill?
Hey, guys, how are you tonight?
We're good, thanks.
Bob, little hockey talk. Every time I watch a Penguin game, I'm amazed of the standards in hockey, how they've, gone downhill. They're always putting up these, statements about a guy who scored 20 goals in a season 8 or 9 consecutive times, and Rick Mears is saying that's remarkable. Bob, to score 20 goals in a season, you have to score 4 goals a month or 1 a week. I remember the year that Gretzky scored his 50th goal on December 31st.
Times have changed.
He had 20 goals on Halloween.
It's a different
How
game.
is 20 in a season remarkable?
It's a different game. I'm gonna take you back to a year that I was looking at, talking about the Penguins, and if you remember back in 2015, they had to win the final game of the year in Buffalo to get into the postseason and keep their streak alive.
I was there.
In Buffalo when you saw
Cook was on
Brandon
left
Sutter
of-
score both goals in that game.
Ron Cook sat on my left, and I think Scotty Bowman was on my right. I was surrounded by greatness. It was unbelievable.
Well,
I remember that game.
Yeah,
that was the Mike
exactly.
Johnson coach team.
There was, but I went back and looked at some earlier years, okay, and this is what he's talking about in that year. I saw once where, and this was, I think, I'm not sure of the year, Joe Thornton in Boston, in San Jose, no, in Boston, before he was traded to San Jose, had his best season at 125 points, I think 99 assists. There were 15 players who had over 110 points in the league.
Well, that's why what Draisaitl's doing in Edmonton is so remarkable. He's going to push.
But that's not the same, Pete, as it is today.
Right.
It's just not.
Draisaitl's going to push. Lemieux's numbers from '96 are incredible in terms of point per game in total point production, and Draisaitl's going to give that a run for his money.
And there were people out there who questioned why Edmonton gave him so much money, and they thought he was Conor McGregor's Robbie Brown.
Conor McDavid.
McGregor. I'm thinking about the fight game already.
You're thinking about
Why
St.
am I
Patrick's
doing
Day, is what you're thinking about.
All right, it's time now for the tweet of the night, which is brought to you by Tri-State Furniture, and we do this tweet of the day, actually, every day, and we do it here again. So here it is, and it goes to us from Donnybrook PGH.
Okay.
Is that what it is, or we have? Okay, it's Donnybrook PGH. Join us for the Ireland Institute Pittsburgh's Donnybrook 2020. If you don't know what that is, check it out online. It's presented by People's Gas this Friday, March 13th at the Priory Hotel. This is a bunch of boxers who come from Ireland, also Pittsburgh, get together and have a Donnybrook. So that is available.
What's that mean, bare knuckle?
Yeah, I guess. So it's Friday, March 13th, 7 p.m. at the Priory. It's for the Ireland Institute of Pittsburgh. So check them out if you want to get more information. That's our tweet of the day. When we come back, we have more calls and more opinions right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, Pittsburgh CW.